Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Brenda Schmidt. Brenda Schmidt is a serial entrepreneur, board member, educator, and advisor focused on building business that creates a better future. She is currently the CEO of Coplex, a corporate startup studio that turns the art of building businesses into a repeatable science. Well, good afternoon, Brenda. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You bet, Brenda. This is exciting. Love your background, and I want to jump into some of the questions, especially around your experience. You have an amazing career in life sciences, tech startups, and in executive roles. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth?
I spent my entire career in one way or another within healthcare, but I think it's really focused around three different things. One, I think I just sort of have this insatiable curiosity, so always want to learn new things. And that leads to a lot of different types of experiences. So, I've worked for large organizations. I've been a serial entrepreneur. Now I'm at Coplex building businesses, but I've also always been a hand raiser. So if somebody said, hey, who wants to take over total quality management? I was like, well, I don't really know anything about that. So I'll raise my hand and do that. And so I think that has really contributed to the opportunity to have a lot of different experiences that has led my career in a lot of really interesting directions.
Thank you for sharing that. Like I said, your background is amazing, very interesting, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that here in a second. But as you know, Brenda, everybody globally has had to make major shifts to the new normal during this pandemic. Could you share with us what you're doing to adjust and stay relevant in this economy?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I assumed the CEO role here at Coplex about 5 months ago, so April 11th. So we're a month into really understanding that COVID was having major disruptions to everything, supply chain, standard business models, not only in the US, but globally. And so it really afforded an opportunity for Coplex, and we build businesses to look across industries and say, what is the new normal and how can digital business models positively impact and create this new normal? And how can we support that? So I think Coplex ourselves has gone through a really significant pivot in understanding that corporations have a really hard time innovating away from their core and sort of the incremental improvement or even adjacent innovation and those things that are truly disruptive and perhaps not in alignment with their current quarterly or even annual business unit strategic objectives and KPIs. Those things should really be spun out as separate businesses. And I think we're gaining traction there with some more services-oriented businesses that never embraced technology with the realization that the only way to stay relevant and in fact continue to disrupt themselves and their industries is to evolve through technology. And so it's afforded the opportunity for Coplex to have a new business model of focusing on partnering with those corporations opposed to just founders, and at the same time really helping those corporations understand how digital business models can continue to support their business success moving forward.
Thanks for sharing, Brenda. I think that's very timely, what you're sharing around how businesses have to adjust and shift in this new digital economy, right? The gig economy. So thanks for sharing on that. And Brenda, the big one here, and especially because you're in the tech startup space, are you leveraging any new or emerging technologies in your company that you care to share?
It's been really fascinating just seeing how fast new technologies are allowing organizations to innovate faster. And, there's certainly lots of focus and again, my focus for my career and also domain expertise. And now what we're focused on at Coplex is really around healthcare. And before you'd think about healthcare innovation around insurance models or clinical care models, and really it is around how those organizations can leverage new technologies to improve their consumer experience, business processes, improve the cost and quality of care. So things like blockchain that are allowing patients to have control over their patient data now that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid have mandated interoperability. There is so much data locked into these health systems and payers, and now fragmented digital apps and telehealth. There's this huge opportunity to take what I'll call data exhaust and have actionable insights. And then the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to actually create more personalized experiences. So those technologies applied more broadly to healthcare, I think, are really the opportunity to drive some significant digital transformation.
Thank you, Brenda. I really appreciate the insight on that as well. So last question, Brenda. Our global audience wants to know more about Brenda Schmidt. Can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in leadership or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I would just say again, just have an open mind and be a lifelong learner and get out of your comfort zone. I think that is probably one of the most important things is really finding something that you're really passionate about and leaning into that and learning and realizing that people really want to help. When I assumed the CEO role at Coplex, prior to this, I've been a serial entrepreneur. And as a founder and an entrepreneur, you're the expert. You know what you want to do. You go build this business. But moving into corporate innovation, I didn't know anything about running a studio. We're now raising a fund, didn't know anything about raising a fund, but it is very much a global community. So we're part of the Global Startup Studio Network. And I probably talked to every top 10 or 20 studio in the world, from Dubai to Paris to London to you name it, a few here in the US. And everyone is really willing to help. And I think that's one of the realizations is that if you just reach out and say, help me learn and help me be successful, I think people naturally want to sort of raise all boats and things they're passionate about and are certainly willing to help. But I would just say, I used to teach college, or I still teach college, and people get so concerned about what they're going to major in. And I said, it doesn't really matter, because 30 years from now, you're probably not going to be doing what you think you're going to be doing when you're, 18 or 20 or even 25. So I think that would probably be more my advice. And that, also the opportunity to move around the world in this digital gig economy has never been greater. So I would encourage people to use the opportunity to travel and again, gain as many experiences that they can, both in their personal and their professional lives.
That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. That's some great insight for especially the young entrepreneurs or people looking for a career start somewhere. Brenda, I just want to thank you. It's a pleasure having you on the show today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thanks so much.
Bye for now.